Welcome back to PSG News. Coming up is a debate on gender selection, whether it is a good or bad thing for parents to specifically choose the gender of their offspring.
We have 4 scientists here to debate the topic. This is a touchy topic to talk about because of all the different scenarios and different opinions on the subject.
We have 2 people on each side and 4 questions to discuss. Let's get started.
Do parents have the freedom of choice to select the sex of their children?
Freedom of choice should not be allowed when it harms children. Freedom is a choice and it's a good thing, but when it harms somebody, then it definitely takes a stand toward people, such as harm is done to babies by making love for them conditional. When we specifically choose a gender, then we're making something for us to love. We're not going to have a baby and just love it. We're making a baby so we can love it and that specific gender. Also, harm is done to women by likely furthering their oppression, and harm is done to our society because we're setting a bad cultural example by choosing certain genders that we want.
Parents have reproductive rights that allow them to determine when and why they have children, but why aren't they able to choose the sex of their children? With all of these rights already available, why can't we add one more to allow them to change what they want in their baby? Article 16 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that men and women of full age have the right to marry and raise a family. That can be interpreted in a way that they are able to choose their families and make sure that their family is what they want. It is also good for parents to like the gender of their child, because it makes them more confident in themselves and what they are doing to raise their children. Why should we be in the way why are we in the way of parents only wanting to make themselves happier?
We should stand in the way of trying to make people better, because there are things that could make us genuinely better, such as steroids or like braces make your teeth better. We are who we are, and if we try to mess up the system, then there are going to be a lot of different outcomes, such as there are a lot of bad things that happen or side effects that could happen. We could have kids with a lot of disabilities and like diabetes or other cancers that could generate while in the womb, because we're trying to do all these other scientific things to make them a certain gender.
There are no scientific studies that actually say that anything actually happens from doing this procedure, and in the end, they are still your cells that are being put inside you. The next question is, will this be valuable for replacing a lost child?
How will a child feel if they know that they are just on this earth to serve as a fill-in for a dead sibling? Children are not a replacement. It is also unhealthy for a parent to try to replace a lost child. If they see their new child as the lost one, it can lessen the special bond between the parent and the child.
Would allow parents to replace a lost child with one of the same gender. The trauma and grief of having lost a child might be more easily relieved by allowing the couple to have another child of the same gender. Would you want that couple to go through the trauma and grief of a lost child when they could this option is easily available?
No, you wouldn't want a parent to go through this, but once the child finds out that it is a replacement, the child would feel an outcast. Plus, the parent would suffocate the child because they wouldn't want to lose another child.
How do you feel? If there is an alternative means available, why can't we have the choice to ease our stress?
Could such a policy avoid demographic problems?
Gender selection will likely result in demographic imbalances, because in places such as China and India, there are already problems going on with the rate of which babies are born, because they have selective abortion, where if they know that their kid is going to be a girl right now, then they are likely going to kill it because they want boys right now. And there is 1.3 boy to every girl in those places, and it can cause problems in Western countries because there will be imbalance, and that will cause social harms because in time young men will not be able to find a partner because people are going to want to have so many boys for not only to keep their last name but to also for labor purposes, and also China is already seeing a problem because it's already linked to a rise in men with the selective abortion, and this will cause sexual violence, kidnapping, and forced marriage, also prostitution.
If a state's population becomes very imbalanced, we may have to rethink. But given that most countries, even including all in the West, families only want to balance their families. I mean, the amount of boys to the amount of girls is about the same in most Western countries. Even in China, most of the sex selection going on is due to the one-child rule, where that has been lax since the 1990s, where most of the killing of the actual children happened. Also, if women do become less prominent than men, then maybe these new pressures would give them better rights and would actually pressure the parents to have more women, kind of evening itself out.
Would it help avoid illegal means of gender selection?
These new technologies are more expensive, so people are going to stick with abortion. But either way, both of these situations are bad because abortion, you're killing a human being's life. Yet selecting your child's gender is also bad because families prefer a certain sex over others. With selecting a gender over other means you will have more of one sex than the other on the planet.
In many countries and cultures, gender selection happens already, usually by selective abortion or abandonment of unwanted babies. Everyone can agree that this is a terrible waste of life, potentially very dangerous for the mother concerned, and of course many people object strongly to abortion on moral grounds. The use of new technology to allow gender selection at the start of pregnancy will reduce and hopefully eventually end the use of selective abortion.
Thank you for watching PSG News on the debate on gender selection.
Although the debate is over, we are still interested on what opinions you have, so leave them in the comment section below.
Night.